Welcome back to the 2016 Causeway Scrabble Challenge here in Johor Bahru, Malaysia, just across the water from Singapore. My name is Jesse Matthews, here with Australian expert Chris May, who is back out of retirement to join us in the broadcast booth and provide some wonderful insight between some of the best players here in the world. We have got Nigel Richards, who is still leading the pack with no losses to his name yet, taking on Jesse Day, one of our future, well, he already is a star, but certainly one of our future strong contenders for tournaments to come from North America. Lives in the Bay Area in California in the United States. They are going to face off here for the final game of the day. So Chris, for anyone who's just joining us today, can you give us a 30-second summary on what's happened at the top table today?
Well, the last 3 rounds have been really extraordinary. We've got to see Nigel Richards playing my compatriot Esther Perrins 3 rounds in a row, and Nigel won all 3 of them. And in the last 2 in particular, I thought we saw some absolutely stunning positional play from him. Esther really didn't do too much wrong, but ended up getting sort of getting blown off the board in the last part of the game because of the accuracy of Nigel, what Nigel was doing, and the fact that he maximised his chances to win at every single turn. Really, it's so hard to deal with such an onslaught, especially feeling the pressure under annotation, feeling like you have to find the best move every time.
And nice start for Jesse. He has got Pistoos.
The round before those 3, we actually saw Jesse in action. He was playing Esther, and that was an interesting matchup.
She cleaned his clock. Well, he made a phony bonus attempt, which really set the tone for most of the rest of the game. But he has played a valid one to start this one. And Nigel, we see 6 of his 7 letters.
I don't think Jesse's a player to get ruffled by.
He's not, no.
By having played a phony under annotation already in the day, but other players would be, and they would go into their shells and not play anything that they weren't absolutely sure of in this match against Nigel. But I think Jesse's one to roll with the punches.
He can shake it off very quickly. It's one of his greatest strengths. He's drawn very well here in particular. And look at that. I'm going to guess that Patrick is going to become more than 1 very quickly here and stagger along.
So,
Lots of points.
I'm moderately surprised that Nigel throws open the triple there. Tripax was available.
Oh, I don't see an S on the board.
Oh, he didn't have a. Do we know what his 7th tile was?
I never actually saw.
Okay, in that case,
on the rack.
Right, I assumed it was a bingo. If it's not a bingo, then Patrick is less surprising.
Yeah, I think it's just Patrick, and we don't know what his last letter was.
Excuse me. In which case, it's going to be a stonking start for Jesse because he'll just bingo easily.
Yeah,
on the bottom row.
That's what I was. So down comes stagger. There's nothing staggery about his start right now. He is just scoring points and scoring fast. It's staggering. No, he's not staggering along by any means. So B, H, L, hard to balance with all of those, but he's probably just going to look to score with 1, well, with 2 of them probably. He should be able to deal with here.
Jackie pick up to Jesse. That'll slow him down.
He might consider something like Yiti at 10B, assuming it's not blocked. So that's the one I'll stick to on his end of the board. Meanwhile, over on Nigel's.
Certainly nothing's jumping out at me as an obvious play here from Nigel.
I was looking to see if there is maybe a decent spot for Bavor. to get rid of a few. Nick, it's worth noting for people who do play both books, there is one really notable difference, well, several, but in positions like this, there's one notable difference. In TWL, it's not impossible, but it would be exceedingly difficult to come back from a difference of this. But in Collins, with more words available and not quite so easy to block, it's the chances that coming back are actually a little more frequent. Still difficult for Nigel in this case, but in Collins, you wouldn't write this one away. Sorry, go ahead.
No, not at all. So with that play, he's basically ticked 3 boxes. He's got some points on the board. Basically got himself the most bingo-y leave that he could reasonably have got, given the players available, and taken some positional initiative that made sure that there are some things for Jesse to think about in the event of Jesse getting a bad rack, which is indeed what he does have. I think that UIT play looks fairly
good to block B as well.
Yeah, exactly.
I was looking for able words for Nigel as a triple triple. He's got co-A evolve for sure.
Yeah, lavabos almost, not quite. Well, I thought Jason Casper was saying.
Maybe he's decided to stay because it's Jesse Day playing. JKB, give us your reasoning. You decided you can't sleep either. Jackson couldn't earlier, and now Jason can't either. But Jackson we haven't seen in the feed for a while, so I think he's finally gone to bed.
Yeah, you're quite right, Jason. Giving the L and E was icing on the cake, wasn't it, with that Broch play? In fact, there is a vowel.
There you go. So it would actually be imperative that he plays something like Yiti to block it.
I really think he will. Won't he?
Uked.
Even better. Who needs Yiti?
Yeah, scoring is also good. It's a good play.
A very, very good play. Excellent board vision there. Really top class.
And sometimes, even though, you look at II and think, that's, you can be okay with keeping a dreadful lead when you score that much, certainly.
No, with a 100-point lead, it's so easy to take your eye off the ball. Just play Yiti, as I probably would have done, and sounds like you probably would have done.
Yeah, I would have probably as well.
Not looked much further. Today does what we should always do.
Which is consider more options and then score when you can. So
yeah, really impressive move.
So something like, I don't know if it's the best co-A balls. Is there as Vogel through the S?
Oh, that's fine.
There's a few options here anyway.
Nothing decent with the R, which your eye's drawn to.
And then I'm thinking of the right spelling. Artai-Valenia works as well. So, or I guess Valenia is just the only one that would play here. And nothing that really double word scores, just some triple letter scores.
So Nigel's winning chances here are very, very small already.
So he's going to want to go for opening the board as much as he can when he bonuses here.
I would think so. Yeah.
Lavabos. Henry spazzing a little bit there. There we go.
And and what top row play are we both missing?
I know.
Jesse's gone.
I'm looking for something that's obvious and I'm not seeing it.
At worst, I guess there's flop, but I can't believe that's the best thing.
And then I wrote off lift very quickly as not the best play. Trying to find something better than that. He's close to a few things that would clean that up, but nothing I can see. A jet foil doesn't quite work. And a lift job.
I panic when people suggest those things now in case it's in CSW 15. Well, I'm not quite sure what a lift job would be.
It would be a car term probably. Like for people who have huge ass tires that they're going to put on the car. At least that's what I would define as a lift job. And Nigel has got, let's see over here, Nick says he's got a bonus play.
Bromidal. No, it's not that.
I gotta think about this here.
What?
Trimodal.
Yeah, Modiola.
Modiola is nice. Trimodal works too, right? No? Okay. Or Dalium. There you go.
That's nice. So there might be some play in this game. If Jesse is forced to play a slightly awkward blocking move, picks up a slowing down set of letters, and Nigel bingos again, well, you never quite know. It is Nigel.
Mm-hmm. So job, yeah, just taking the points.
Fearless play.
Props for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So far, I can't fault him on anything. Infix it.
Yeah, pretty handy. I mean, Flicks will do up the top, and if he gets anything better than that, like infix somewhere, well, more power to him. Indeed, lift job is not a word. Do not play lift job. Nigel has a choice of bingos.
I can't remember if infixation works. I was thinking that
Looks
with
like
all
he's
the
going
letters.
for Dalium.
Yeah. that's
The
nice.
Dalium does take an S, so Nigel is keeping the hooks on the board in the hope of getting that case S. Backs are both down already, of course. But still, a long way behind, 85 behind.
You know what's amazing is if Jesse had another N or another N on the board, he actually would have infixation with those two vowels in their place. But he does not.
That would be completely ridiculous.
I guess flicks here probably. Yeah.
Looks like the default play, doesn't it? Wait to see whether Nigel's comeback will continue.
Slightly vexing for Jesse that there's no easy 52 points with the X, but flicks will score well enough. You can't complain too much.
So, no bingo there for Nigel, but I mean, up by is a beautiful solution to that rack. It really keeps the scoring pressure on.
Oh yeah.
So,
Scores a lot, balances.
there
That's
could well be some play, and it creates another bingo line in the B column. Could well be some play still in this game, amazingly. Not too surprised that Jesse's spending a bit of time trying to find something better than flicks. You know, 42 points is all well and good, But the IINT, it can go badly wrong, and then suddenly, you know, you waste a turn changing or dumping for 10 points, and the gains you've made are well and truly erased. Having said that, I don't think there is anything better than Flicks, certainly not that I've seen so far.
Really, he's going to be thinking about, okay, well, I got Flicks, but keeping 2 eyes, there are 3 unseen to him in the pool still. 2 is already bad enough. He knows this because he's got 3 already. So he'll be thinking a little bit about that. But yeah, I'm not seeing anything better either. And he's got no help in terms of inferences since Ordalium has just gone down.
Oh, very interesting suggestion from Peter. Filii, slightly counterintuitive in terms of balance, but A, E, or
the
O
X,
draw
yeah.
gives him 50 points.
That is nice.
It's a very nice idea.
Yeah, it's extremely tempting to not play the X in this turn, but actually, I really like that suggestion. So many E's left. And 4 A's, 3 O's. Yeah, it's really tempting not to do if you see it. So, Inlet.
Hello.
So he's decided to keep the X. He's made a different play, but he's doing, it looks like essentially the same thing. He's keeping the X in hopes of drawing an E.
So he's managed to balance his leave. I have to admit that I do not know that word.
I didn't either.
It takes an S. I want to just claim it must be CSW 15, but I'm probably wrong.
And look, he's drawn 3 E's, not just 1. He has definitely drawn 1.
Oh, that's a horrendous draw.
So he's done what he wanted, and then a lot he did not.
So he has the 50 points, but long-term rack damage to go with it.
Yeah, so it looks like it's going to be up by and X as the next 2 turns. It turns out...
It is CSW 15, so I don't feel bad about that.
There you go.
Sort of think that I would have played Flicks as well.
I don't think I would have seen Filii, so I would have played Flicks, but I would have had a hard time picking if I had seen both. I think because it's a lead, you don't really need to be coy, and you might as well.
I wonder what's keeping Nigel here.
I'm sure I've seen it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, it's Jesse's turn, so Nigel made a play already.
So
it's probably up by.
Probably.
But Jesse would have played X as well, so we'll just wait for the turns officially to be shown on the board. But
so it means, it means the comeback really has to be chugging along healthily for Nigel. He's going to have needed a decent draw because he's still going to be facing 100 plus deficit, and you can't hold on to those for too long.
Okay, I'm going to do a test based on what we just saw. I want to make sure that our sound is not too lagged, guys. So could one of you type Jesse, just the word Jesse, in the chat as soon as I finish talking right now? I want to see how long it takes to show up. Okay, thank you. So that's about 15 seconds off that. Yeah, that doesn't explain why we're not seeing the several turns updated there. And for some of you, it was about 25 to 30 seconds, so that's good for us to know. Thank you for that information.
So unfortunately we're at least...
We're now several turns behind.
2 turns each behind the play, which is frustrating, of course. So there's up by.
And it'll be X after
It'll be
that,
X
I'm
after
pretty
that.
sure.
But we're not going to have time to think through these next couple of turns in any detail. Just have to see where we wind up when we catch up.
So, Goonies. Envy.
So it looks like Nigel played Envied. Must have played Envied.
Yeah.
I'm lucky not to have had a bingo there, because there was also there was an A in that lead, so he had invade plus something. And we're not quite sure if that rack that's showing for Jesse is his current rack or the rack that he played from after Envied.
Yeah, sorry guys, we'll
We're
catch you up as soon as we know.
Our feed is the same as yours, so we unfortunately don't have shots in the current racks.
Oh yeah, Cats Brown, that's most likely an exchange after EX on Jesse's part. Oh wait, no, he played a Jew. Wow, we're like over a minute behind right now. Just so you guys in the broadcast booth are aware, it looks like we are lagging by approximately 1 minute, so we cannot see whatever you can see in the mixer. If I can get a thumbs up or a wave from you so I can see you're here.
Okay, so we think that what we see right now is probably the actual state of the game. And if I'm getting this right, the play that followed X was Nigel's Envied, and Jesse, who had predictably Val Trouble, then played Adieu, and Nigel countered with Zanjus. So Nigel made up a bunch of points in that exchange, and is now only 50 behind.
But Jesse with a bonus rack.
Jesse with a bonus rack. And a home for it, so still under no real pressure.
Yeah.
In fact, spoiled for choice. I think all three, it is 3 sevens now then.
Goonies,
Check absolutely everything these days.
Oh wait.
Oh, his rack has miraculously changed to Igneous. At least it's still a bingo.
Yeah.
So, looks like a pretty tough assignment for Nigel. I think the rack has moved back to being good news.
Over in the broadcast booth, can I please get you to turn around and wave at me so I can see that you are listening and that we are in sync sound-wise? If you don't turn and wave, I'm going to assume you can't hear me. Okay guys, I'm guessing they can't hear me or they're not paying attention based on me talking, so I think we are still 1 minute behind in terms of our feed here, but they cannot hear me, so we'll see what we can do.
It's okay. So with Goonies having gone down, Jesse retains a very, very comfortable lead here, and there's only 11 tiles in the bag for Nigel to work with. One bingo probably won't cut it. He probably needs 2. He's not even close to getting 1, and it's a fairly tricky board. No S's or blanks. The whole left-hand side of the board is out. This is really almost curtains for Nigel in this position, which is good for the tournament because it's going to mean he doesn't
He's not
go
running
through
away
day
with it.
one undefeated. So kudos to Jesse. Playing a really excellent couple of moves. Uke was fabulous play.
So Nigel had like Fadatic or something on his rack, like as letters. I'm wondering why he played fat and not fad, keeping the T to hook of and give himself an opportunity. Seems kind of curious. Because there's no T's left in the bag. Doesn't it seem odd to you?
Yes, maybe.
Or is there something you see that I don't that would justify fat over fad?
I don't know, maybe it's a Q-related decision, but still...
Alright, for Cade, but you could hold on to things for Cat.
Right.
I mean, the default assumption is that he is correct, whatever he does. He's got to figure out why.
It is pretty unclear where he thinks he's getting... Well, okay, I mean, it's impossible for him to bingo twice. He was only ever going to bingo once because he couldn't bingo on that turn. So, assuming that he still has found possible winning chances for himself, he must be relying on an 0-1 play, and maybe the D was a crucial part of that play.
It's hard to speculate for sure.
That's my best guess.
Looks like Jesse is playing on the lower end of the board, so lighter.
Yep. Very solid. Lay 4 in the bag, 135 point lead.
Not much concern.
Nothing to worry about. Yep.
So while we're waiting for Nigel, can you pull up the standings page just really quickly? I just
Yeah.
want to figure out roughly who we might see tomorrow. Probably Nigel again. Well, Nigel and Jesse actually, if they're both at 7. If this is straight up King of the Hill, then that'll be a rematch. Actually, you know, it depends on what Harshen does, perhaps.
Yeah, and that's a round out of date. We don't have in front of us the round 8
Standings?
placings.
Okay, yeah, it'll be some combination of Nigel and Jesse, or Jesse and Harshen. It depends on what happens, I think. It won't be Nigel and Harshen because Jesse's going to have more spread than Nigel. So yeah, if Harshen wins by a decent amount, it would be Jesse and Harshen next round, because I think it's a straight up pairing for round 10.
Unless they suspend the lag and do the round 10 pairings overnight based on round 9, which they might do.
True.
I think King's Cup sometimes does that.
Well, if they base it on round... Oh yeah, it would depend on whether they decide to use round 8 standings or round 9 standings. But anyway, it is going to be some combination of those 3. 2 of them will be on board 1 tomorrow. Very likely Jesse Day is one of those 2.
Yeah, I like this result for the tournament. It's a big win by Jesse over Nigel.
It's important, otherwise he could easily have slipped away, assuming Harshen had lost. So.
Nigel starts 8-0. He doesn't lose many tournaments.
No. or 8-1 is impressive all the same. I would certainly love to have that record in this field.
Okay, well, we wait for this game to peter out to its anticlimactic conclusion with Nigel going into spread minimization. Here's a pop quiz. Jesse's current rack, ELLRTY, makes a 10-letter bingo with A, G, and I.
A, G,
Can
and I.
anyone solve it? It's not common, but it is a 7 plus 3.
A, G, I.
A, G, and I plus Jesse Day's rack. Can anyone get it? Don't all type at once.
A, G, I. I'm just thinking stupid combinations for legality. No.
No, it's slightly more fun.
Okay.
I looked for an interesting word with those letters, and that was the first one that sprang up on Zizova.
It would just be me guessing, honestly. Things like tire galley.
Correct. It is Galleryite.
Really? What is that?
It's a 7 plus 3, I told you.
Wow. Nice play.
I like telemetry with a floating ME as well. No, wait. That's complete rubbish. Doesn't have two L's. I think my brain's sort of swimming in a pond of,
It's the end of
pond
the day.
of yeah. Illness plus jet lag plus commentary plus I don't know, whatever else has happened to me.
And we still have dinner to go to. We need to
Yeah.
exchange pleasantries for another hour and a half.
Yeah.
Aren't you just a lucky soul?
Do you know if that's here or somewhere else?
I think we're actually going off site in a minute. You poor thing.
Maybe I'll pass.
So
I
I'm
really
just
need
gonna
to go to
assume
bed.
I will be here alone in the morning as you have passed out and just don't ever wake up again. So Nigel's played QI and GI.
That's a great thought. I mean, he spent longer on that than he does in crucial positions sometimes. And all he could possibly be thinking about is how to minimize spread.
Yep.
True professional. Names. Tell us in the chat if Finlit is an everyday word for you.
I wonder if it's the same vein as Kidlit.
Kidlit.
K-I-D-L-I-T, because that's children's literature. I wonder if Finlit is a book definition, perhaps, because it's not a past tense word. It takes an S, you said.
It does take an S, yeah.
So I wonder if it's not a literature word. Finnish literature. Who knows?
Pretty niche.
This dictionary has all sorts of interesting words, so it would not surprise me if it were something like that, but no, I'm sure it's not that.
My Google search is just bringing up a ton of things called financial literacy. Maybe it's that.
Raheel Parkar in the chat is saying something similar.
Fair enough. I'm slightly disappointed. I was hoping for more.
Were you hoping for some Finnish literature, perhaps with a whole bunch of needless letters with umlauts on top of it that's impossibly long?
Yeah, I won't hear anything against Finno-Ugric language group. I'm a big fan of that language group.
Finnish actually is in my family bloodline. It goes back on my mother's side. Her grandmother was from Helsinki and moved to North America when she was a young girl. I like the bins. I just like to make fun of how long and odd some of the words are. But then English has strange words. Every language has strange words.
Finnish has a very strange look on the page to an English speaker. But I've got quite used to it orally now because of having spent a lot of time in Thailand, and the two languages are really reasonably similar.
They're the closest related, I understand. Considering Finnish doesn't really have any direct relative.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah. No, they are fairly similar. The grammar's quite similar, and the vocab, and yeah, they're easily confused. You know, I always do a double take when I'm listening to or seeing Finnish. You know, at first, I think it's Estonian, and then realize it's not.
Okay. But what's the word for begin? Like oil with the O and the umlaut on top, or something like this?
What's the word for what?
Beer.
Yeah, exactly.
Oil. I'm just thinking from when I was over in Tallinn earlier this year, and I think everything had oil on it. Or wait, they have oljetelas, I think, is over there as well. Something like this, with a really weird T.
Well, yeah, they have that letter, the O with the tilde on top.
That's the one.
Yeah. Which is absolutely impossible to pronounce if you're a non-native speaker. I never got it. You can see how interesting this game is. Here we are chatting about weird Estonian characters.
Well, you know,
come on, Jesse. Everyone wants to have dinner. Get on with it, mate.
A lot of the jokes that we have, we don't know what a word means, is there's several possible definitions, and one of them is usually currency. The other is univalent radicals, and yeah, some kind of science word usually.
Hebrew letter.
Or Hebrew letter, yeah. So talking about morphology in the Finnish language is not that surprising given what kind of words we have. They show up in our dictionary sometimes.
Which one is pistus? Jesse's opening bingo.
I have no idea what it means.
Probably it's all cold sauce. Sounds nice.
Oh yes, in Hungarian. Thank you, Jason Katzgrund. Another language with some lack of relatives. Although Hungarian is removed a little bit. From what I recall from linguistics, the closest relative to Finnish is Estonian, and then much more separated but still very slightly related is Hungarian. So it's considered another degree of separation away, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, I think that's about right.
The only true language isolate in Europe is actually Basque, spoken in the northwest region of Spain. It has no relatives whatsoever known in linguistics. It's a fascinating language, extremely difficult.
What about Georgian? Because it has its own alphabet, Georgian.
I think Georgian is still somewhere in the Slavic tree,
okay.
Weirdly, but... Europe has got some interesting languages in there, that's for sure. And we borrow words from almost all of them in the Scrabble dictionary. We have, I believe Zardas comes from Hungarian, the dance.
Yeah.
C-Z-A-R-D-A-S. That's the one I can think of right away.
I'm really curious if these guys have seen some crazy continuation here that we're just cavalierly overlooking, because they're taking a bit of time. Is Jesse really trying to defend the lead, or...?
Jesse likes to take his time no matter what. He is known for running the clock down to nothing and making use of his time. You're never going to see him with like 10 minutes on his clock. It's just part of his playing style. So Les...
Maybe he's hoping for a cheeky bingo. Yeah, well, if he was going to play two tiles, some due diligence is definitely in order.
You gotta wonder though what he would have drawn that Nigel couldn't block.
I do wonder that. Everyone's loving the language chat. Good mort.
Good mort. I actually don't know that one, Edward. Where is that from? Nigel's played manned.
Are they, I think I know. They're the ones that the babushki who performed at Eurovision spoke, I think. Which may be why Edward has thrown it in the chat. Am I right about that? Yeah, it is. I can tell from his comment.
Very protected endgame for everybody. I'm trying to imagine you in the commentary booth, Edward. You'd be very dry and very blunt. I think I would enjoy having you in here as well. A Russian one. Okay. Thank you. In that case, it's probably also somewhere in the Slavic tree. Russian is the most spoken Slavic language in the entire group. Alright, so that is the game wrapped up. They're going to go over their pleasantries, going to post-mortem. Handshake is there, and with that we have concluded the final game of coverage here in Johor Bahru, Malaysia at the 2016 Causeway Scrabble Challenge. We're going to sign off for the day. My understanding is we're going to be back at 8:30 a.m. local time here. Let me just look to see how far that is off from some other time zones. If you are London-based, we are 8 hours ahead of London. So if we're starting at 8:30, that is a 12:30 a.m. start time. If you are based in Melbourne or Sydney in Australia or a similar time zone, that is 3 hours ahead of us, so that would be at 11:30 a.m. If you are in Vancouver or somewhere on the west coast, then you are 16 hours behind us. So that would be, let's see, 16, 24, that would be 4:30 in the afternoon. So kind of all over the place, depending on where you are in the world, but looking forward to seeing you all at different points today, tomorrow for 10 games. Count them, 10 games of coverage. We are going to need some alcohol after just to cope with such a big day.
I can't even, I'm on antibiotics.
Well, hopefully you get better soon, or I'll have a drink for you. Edward, thank you for your feedback. We are enjoying bringing this to you. We do apologize for some of the issues we've had with getting the sound and video in sync, but we are now very happy it is working, and we get to share our time here with you. So whenever you join us, whether it's at the start of the day or near the end or for the entire thing, we look forward to talking to you and sharing these games with you again. Until then, Jesse Matthews and Chris May signing off. We will see you tomorrow.